What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Super here, and welcome to another video. Hold on, let me take a sip of this real quick. No, it's not alcohol. It's just plain H2O, baby. Alcohol only on the weekends. But welcome back to another video. This was not going to be a Q&A video, but it is going to answer a question that I get asked all the time, which is, what other games do I play other than NetherRealm games? Like, why don't you upload Street Fighter? Why don't you upload blah, blah, so-and-so? I'm going to answer that right now. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about some of the fighting games that I played when I was a kid and what sort of inspired me to actually get good at these fighting games. Or at least relative to the people around me at the time. So first off, let me just say that I upload, well, not consistently, but I've uploaded a ton of different fighting games on the channel. It's just a lot of those videos get buried in the thousands and thousands of videos that I've uploaded over the years. So for example, I have like 100 Street Fighter V videos, ranging from when the game first came out, I think even the beta, to like even recently, maybe a couple months ago when I played with Dan. So I'll leave the playlist down below of my Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite videos, my Street Fighter V videos, and my, what other game? I don't know. I'll leave the Tekken 7 video down there, which I'm going to talk about right now. I'll leave a Dragon Ball Fighterz playlist. Like playlists of other games fighting games that I've uploaded. I'll leave them down below if you guys want to check them out. But I have uploaded a lot of different fighting games. Like I said, they just get lost in time. I uploaded a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite videos, man. I love that game. It's such a shame that the game literally fell on its face as soon as it got announced. Well, not announced. I think people are hyped about like the actual announcement. Once the trailer came out and people saw Chun-Li's face and how the game looked, it died right there on the spot. And it didn't help that it was released at the same time as Dragon Ball Fighterz, one of the greatest fighting games of all time. Holy I can't cuss because of YouTube. Dragon Ball Fighterz, I can't say enough good things about that game. Other than the netcode, which I'm not even going to talk about, Dragon Ball Fighterz is literally a dream come true game. It's rare when that happens. It's literally a dream come true game for millions of people that love Dragon Ball. And to have Arc System Works create this fighting game with so much influence for Marvel vs. Capcom 2, are you kidding me? I don't need to talk about Dragon Ball Fighterz. Dragon Ball Fighterz, one of the greatest fighting games of all time. And it's not even close. But Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, I feel had the potential, maybe not to be one of the greatest fighting games of all time, but it had the potential to be, you know, a really, really, really good fighting game and one that could last for a while. But they stopped supporting the game. And the reason I say that is not because, like, the art style kind of, like, washes away from your mind when you actually start playing the game. Because Marvel Infinite has some of the best gameplay in a versus game, I think, ever. Yeah, ever. It can be considered like one of the best versus games of all time. But if you talk about gameplay wise with the 2v2 active tag mechanic, holy crap. Sometimes you feel like you have too much potential and too much freedom of what you could do. That game is nuts, man. That game is crazy. I love how fast paced it is, man. It feels like you're on crack when you're playing. If you guys play Kung Lao or play some of these characters in MK11 that like to jump 3 all the time, or like Kung Lao and MKX, man, that is nothing compared to how cracked out you feel playing Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, even on a basic level. Keep in mind, I was never good at that game. Just on a basic level, that game was so good gameplay-wise. My goodness, man. When Venom came out, Venom and Spider-Man, that was my favorite team to play. Actually, one of my most viewed videos, probably the most viewed video that I have that's not like a Mortal Kombat game, I think is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, where I get like 8,500 damage combo with Venom and Spidey. keep in mind that was like when the game first came out. You know, a lot of people weren't uploading too much Marvel Infinite content, so it just got picked up in the algorithm. It was like people were discovering Touch of Death combos like very fast, so it wasn't even like good, but you know, it just got picked up by the algorithm. Sometimes that happens, but I had a blast playing with Sigma and X. Man, I would have kept playing that game if it wasn't for the fact that it died so quickly, man. After the first 2 weeks, it was a struggle to find somebody to play versus on PlayStation. That wasn't like the same person just looking for a rematch. You know what I mean? It was hard finding those people, at least in the level that I was at, because I sucked at the game, I'll admit. I was like a very basic level. So at that level, there was like nobody playing the game. At a higher level, you could find matches and find people, but at my level, it was just like I wasn't finding anybody. So I just stopped playing the game, and of course they stopped supporting it. But man, I did love that game. I uploaded one Tekken 7 video. One. And the reason I didn't upload more is because the game came out at the same time as Injustice 2. Bread and butter of the channel, NetherRealm Games. I have to learn all the characters. I had no time for Tekken 7, even though I love the characters. But at the same time, to be honest with you guys, 3D fighters are not my thing. That's why I uploaded some Soul Calibur 6 gameplay, and I stopped uploading because 3D fighters are just not my thing. They're just not my thing. Same thing with Arena Fighters, but I uploaded One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows, I think it was called, the One Punch Man game. I uploaded some of that. I uploaded some of My Hero Academia One's Justice, or My Hero One's Justice, whatever it's called. So I definitely try out different games, guys, whenever it comes out. It's just the videos get buried with a ton of Mortal Kombat and Injustice stuff. So, you know, if you want to search on the channel, you know, the One Punch Man videos, the My Hero Academia videos, I'll leave the Tekken 7 one down, linked in the description. My Street Fighter video, Street Fighter 5, Dragon Ball Fighters. I have like 300 Dragon Ball Fighters videos, and that was the exception to every other fighting game that's not another NetherRealm game. That's how much I loved Dragon Ball Fighters. I didn't care how many views those videos got. Most of them didn't even break 10,000 views, especially like after year one. For the first year, they're actually doing pretty good. After year one, it was hard for me to break like 10,000 views, but I did not care at all because the people who actually wanted to watch, they were enjoying the hell out of them. I was really enjoying making them. So Dragon Ball, if I could find a fighting game that interests me as much as Dragon Ball Fighters did, you bet your ass I'm going to upload as many videos as I can until I don't have fun playing with the game anymore. So that's that, man. That's literally why I don't upload any other fighting games, because none of them capture my interest to really want to put the time into them as much as like a Dragon Ball Fighters. That's not another NetherRealm game. So that pretty much answers that. So coming up in the future, the Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl. I'm definitely playing that. I'm definitely going to try out King of Fighters 15 when it comes out, because I'll be talking about King of Fighters right now. Whenever there's a Tekken 8, I'll definitely put more time into that unless it releases at the same time as another NetherRealm game. Whenever there's a Street Fighter 6, I know that one's coming probably in the future, maybe in 2023, maybe. Who knows? I'll definitely be playing that for sure, because I actually really like the Street Fighter franchise. It's just the game got boring to me. Street Fighter 5 got boring to me after a while. I felt like things were getting nerfed too much. But that's going to be the future of the channel. You know, I'm always going to be rocking the NetherRealm games. That's bread and butter. But if there's a new fighting game that comes out, I'll give it a try. If it catches my interest enough, and if I really like it, then I'll continue uploading it. But let's talk a little bit about the two fighting games that I played the most as a kid. Now, keep in mind, when I was a kid, like, we didn't have that much money, you know, so I couldn't really afford, you know, some of the consoles, etc. I think my mom, like, maybe saved up for a while and bought me the original PlayStation 1 for, I think, Christmas. And that's how I played Tekken 3, you know, consistently. But most of my fighting game experience came from playing in the arcades. And one in particular that I will always remember that I had a great time with, even though it was a dangerous situation, potentially dangerous situation, was going to the liquor store a couple of streets down from my house back when I was like 10, 11 years old to play King of Fighters 98. There was a Neo Geo cabinet that had multiple games, I think like Metal Slug, and it had a soccer game, and it had King of Fighters 98. I don't know what other game it had, but my friends and I would go down there to the liquor store, and there was always people, man. There was always people like hanging around outside. And I didn't live in like, well, it was definitely the hood. Don't get me wrong, man. There was a lot of shootings and like dangerous shit going on around there. Everywhere in LA, like around that time, was pretty fucking dangerous. A lot of people just think it's like Compton, South Central, East LA, places like that. Nah, man. There was a lot of like places around Koreatown and around that area. Whew. At that time, everywhere was dangerous. And this place was no exception, man. This place was no exception. But we loved King of Fighters 98 so much that we would go down to the local liquor store and fight these dudes who were like hanging out outside, some of them drunk out of their mind. But when they got on the sticks, they were insanely good doing combos. King of Fighters 98. They could barely walk in a straight line after they got done beating my 10-year-old ass. But these guys, when they got on the sticks, it's like if they were gods. It's crazy, man. So that's how I learned, man. I would ask the dudes, whenever they weren't drunk, even when they were drunk, they're always really nice, because I think they had respect for these little 10, 11, 12-year-olds in my friend group that would come into the liquor store and, put up the quarters to try to beat their asses. And eventually over time, as we learned the game more and more, as they taught us more and more, we got better, and then we start beating their asses, and it was all cool, man. It was definitely all cool. Maybe there was a couple of times where somebody would hit the arcade machine in anger that they lost to this little kid. So obviously I would be scared, but it never led to anything. A lot of those guys were not going to do anything. They were just very competitive, and they were good at the game, man. So that's how I learned King of Fighters 98. And, I carried that love over to Capcom versus SNK 2. I would use a lot of King of Fighters characters, a lot of them. Iori is my favorite character. I don't remember what my team was in King of Fighters 98. But I don't think I ever played like 99 and 2000 and those other games. I just like 98, man. That's my King of Fighters. So that was the first game that I really try to get good at and try to invest my money in when I would go to the liquor store. The other one, and what really made me fall in love with fighting games, was Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Oh, God, it's still my favorite fighting game of all time. It's still my favorite fighting game of all time. Maybe MKX beats it because literally MKX has changed my life. But as far as just overall, I was going to say impact, but of course, fucking MKX. But just overall, I still think that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is my favorite fighting game of all time. It's just, man, that game is beautiful. And I wish I was good at that game, man. If I could pick one fighting game to be good at, it would definitely be Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Because that game is beautiful. That game it's just a special game. So it was kind of the same situation, but the Marvel 2 cabinet, was actually at a video store called Planet Video. It was by the King Taco down on fucking what was it, like Pico and Alvarado, I think it was. The King Taco's still there, by the way. And there was a video store next door called Planet Video. It's not there anymore. It's long gone, man. That shit, when Blockbuster and all those places went out of business, all those video stores went out of business. So or even before that, I guess when Blockbuster started coming in, those video stores went out of business. But I would go there all the time, like right after school. I would go there, spend like $2. It was like 50 cents per token, or like, per life, per game. And man, you really had to earn that money because Marvel 2 was really, really popular. Like King of Fighters 98, not too popular. It was just around the Latino dudes who were like more old school and had time playing that game already. But Marvel 2, man, that game was insanely popular. So there's always like at least 4 to like 6, 7 people waiting to play. And keep in mind, this was a tiny video store. It was a tiny video store. So you had to earn your games when playing Marvel 2. And it was kind of the same situation. I started off like not knowing anything. And then the more I played people, the more I learned, because I would ask, how do you do this? How do you do that? They would beat my ass. And then when after they beat my ass and they would play like the computer, I would ask them like, hey, how do you do that? How do you do that? And they would show me like while playing the computer, because the Marvel 2 like AI was easy. So it was very easy for them to like teach me. I remember one dude specifically was like really good with Captain America. Obviously, like when I'm talking about this, like we're not fucking talking about like MSP and like competitive shit. Like it was like we all sucked probably at the time, right? So this guy was really good with like Captain America. I'm like, man, how the hell do you play? Like, how do you do air combos? How do you do all this and that? And there was this one dude who would always go there, and he's the one that I learned from the most. Like he taught me how to play with Iceman, with Captain America, and you get the you kind of get the feel of how air combos work and how they start. Down light, or down light, medium, launcher, stuff like that. You kind of get the idea. So once I learn how to do air combos and call in my assist and include assisting combos, I started really learning how to play. Psylocke was my favorite character at the time. I can't do it to this day. I can't do any Magneto shit. I just love Magneto. So I would pick Magneto, even though I didn't really know how to do any of his stuff. I just would do like a regular launcher combo, and I would pick Psylocke, and I wouldn't pick Storm or Sentinel. I don't remember who I would pick. Maybe Cable. But the character I loved playing the most was Psylocke. I just really liked her triple jump. I would try to get like her triple jump air combos into her butterfly super. And those are the characters I enjoy playing the most. But yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 really, really made me fall in love with fighting games. Really, really made me fall in love with fighting games. And then after the arcade scene kind of died out, I didn't really have anywhere to go to play fighting games anymore. So that's why I stopped for a long time. And then coming back to 2011, when I actually owned a console and I could play Mortal Kombat 9, that kind of like sparked my love of Mortal Kombat a little bit. But I was so focused on Call of Duty at the time, I didn't really pay too much attention to, try to learn the game. But when MKX came out, different story, and definitely happy that I took advantage of that, because Mortal Kombat X, I still think is the like biggest Mortal Kombat game of all time. I think it's still the best-selling Mortal Kombat game of all time. I think in Mortal Kombat 11 will probably pass it, but I still think Mortal Kombat X is the best-selling Mortal Kombat game of all time by a little bit. But to me, in my opinion, like it won't. I don't think it will get bigger than MKX. Like, man, if you guys weren't around when MKX launched, fuck, it was insane. Like everybody was playing MKX because the game was so good. You didn't really need to man, there was people who had never played a Mortal Kombat game playing Mortal Kombat X because it was just so much fun. So hopefully, a Mortal Kombat game could capture everyone's attention the way MKX did. But that's a little history of, some fighting games that I played growing up. And also, why don't upload any other fighting games? Because I'm going to upload what I enjoy playing. Because if I don't enjoy playing, the videos are going to suck. So thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. What's going on? It's Super here, and thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you aren't subscribed already, make sure you guys do so. And if you want to see some more, there's videos popping up on the screen right now. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.